Hello, everyone. My name is Angela. I am currently an Ambassador Senior Girl Scout, and today I'm going to be talking about my Gold Award project, which is Golden Years Motivation and Mindfulness on Quality of Life. I've been doing research for my Gold Award for over 80 hours at this point, and I've talked to several professionals about this, so I hope that I'll be able to give you a good insight onto my topic. So first off, what is motivation? It's defined by Oxford Dictionary as the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. And it can be impacted by many things when you are a senior citizen, including your social interaction with your family and friends and people around you, your personal goals, your independence level and your level of independence with your health and things like that, your sense of purpose, and can be negatively impacted by anything such as mental or physical health, procrastination, and such matters. Self-efficacy is also an important factor on your motivation, which I will be talking about later. So first, I want to talk a little bit about why I'm choosing to talk about motivation today. I think motivation is a very important topic to discuss because it is a driving force that is pretty much responsible for you accomplishing any of your goals, which can result in like the amount of happiness in your life, I suppose, depending on the goals that you're chasing after. And it's also a very positive cycle because as you're motivated to do something, you're more inclined to be able to accomplish this goal. And then accomplishing the goal will make you happy, which will make you more motivated to do something else. So it's a very driving force that is important for everyone to know. And also, this brings me to the second point. I think it's an important aspect because it's not often discussed. Like, you don't learn how to get motivated in school. You're just kind of expected to be able to do it. So I think it's important that I talk about the research that's gone behind how you can be more motivated. And I also think it's important because it is very personalizable. You can think about your own life in order to become more motivated, and it's different for every person. So you can think about the types of motivation, types of things that have motivated you, as well as positive motivators and negative motivators, things that may have brought you down or lifted you up, and the changes to your motivation or changes to your life that you did to change your level of motivation. Now, I chose to talk about motivation for my Gold Award topic because I was feeling unmotivated when I first started my project because of school and things like that. And I thought, if I'm unmotivated, probably a lot of other people are unmotivated, especially senior citizens and other such groups that I feel like aren't as heavily looked upon. And so for motivation, there are two main types of motivation. This you can learn in any psychology class. The first is intrinsic motivation, which is usually the stronger type of motivation because it is inspired by you. So you yourself are motivated to do this, and it can range from anything from you being motivated to improve your health or to reach goals that you yourself are interested in, which would increase your motivation, and of course, self-efficacy. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation is motivation that is inspired by an outside source or other people. For example, you could see someone your age succeeding and be motivated to be like that person, or you could be motivated by career or economic success or like money or something. So that is an external source that is driving your motivation. So this is a nice quote that I thought was good. Make sure that you have something to do, someone to love, and something to hope for. Now, you don't have to have all of these things to be motivated, but I think it's important for you to look in your life and think about what you have that could act as a potential motivator for you. Now, as with any conversation about motivation, it is important to discuss the difference between motivation and willpower. Now, motivation, let's say, look at the cake in the center. It's a very delicious cake. Now, let's say that I'm a diabetic, right? I can't eat too much sugar during my day. So motivation can be a positive or negative factor. I'm motivated to not eat this cake because I can't have too much sugar throughout my day, but I'm also motivated to eat this cake because it is a delicious cake that I want to eat. So this is where willpower comes in. Willpower is your conscious decision to abstain from eating the cake in this scenario, or to continue something, Like, let's say I'm on a exercise routine that is making me healthier. My willpower is that decision to continue doing the exercise, even though I may be motivated to stop because I'm tired. Now, self-efficacy, as I've hinted at before, is also known as your personal confidence. It is your own confidence in your abilities and can be built through reinforcement from your peers, through your own lifestyle, and how you perceive yourself. By increasing your personal confidence or self-efficacy, you also increase your likelihood for completing your goal. Because if you're struggling through your goal, you'll be able to have more confidence in your ability, which will increase your willpower to continue towards completing your goal. So now this is time for the activity. The chart on the top is the scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being you are positive that you can do this, and 0 being you can't do this at all. So for each point, you'll write a number from the scale of 0 to 10 based on what you think you're able to do. So the first one is keep yourself from getting down in the dumps. So the second one is talk positively to yourself. The third is sort out what can be changed and what cannot be changed. This is more so like when you're having problems, like you want to think about what problems you can actually solve and which ones like you can't do anything about. The fourth is get emotional support from your friends and family. The fifth is find solutions to your most difficult problems. Sixth is break an upsetting problem down into smaller parts to tackle one at a time. Seven is leave options open when things get stressful. 8 is make a plan of action and follow it when confronted with a problem. 9 is develop new hobbies or recreations. 10 is take your mind off unpleasant thoughts. You don't have to completely ignore them, but just like, have positive thoughts that are stronger. 11 is look for something good in a negative situation. 12 is keep from feeling sad. 13 is see things from other person's point of view during a heated argument. 14 is try other solutions to your problems if your first one doesn't work. 16 is make new friends. 17 is get friends to help you with the things that you need. 18 is do something positive for yourself when you are feeling discouraged. 19 is make unpleasant thoughts go away. 20 is think about one part of the problem at a time. So again, breaking down your issues into smaller parts. 21 is visualize a pleasant activity or place. 22 is keep yourself from feeling lonely. 23 is pray or meditate or do any like mindfulness activities. 24 is get emotional support from community organizations or resources. 25, stand your ground and fight for what you want. 26 is resist the impulse to act hastily when under pressure. Okay, so now you can add up all the numbers that you got from the previous questions. When you finish summing it up, if you are less than 125, you may be below the average level of self-efficacy. And if you're above 125, you're at or above the average level of self-efficacy. If you do have a low self-efficacy score, that's not a problem. There are many ways that you can improve it. And it's also a very fluctuating number, like depending on your mood or the day or whatever, it could definitely change. So if you are feeling like your self-efficacy is low a specific time, it's important to, of course, talk to other people. It's good to talk to people who have maybe experienced similar situations as you. If there's a specific thing that is causing you to feel less self-confidence, you could talk to other people who have maybe been through a similar experience and ask them how they were able to overcome that obstacle and find joy in things in their life despite it. And of course, it's always important to believe in yourself. I know everyone always says it, but it is very important that you are your own biggest cheerleader, because if no one else will cheer for you, you can cheer for yourself. So you want to be able to look back at your previous successes and be proud of them, no matter how small they may be. And you want to believe in yourself and your capabilities, because even if you can't do something maybe as well as someone else, doesn't mean that you can't do it at all. And of course, another important thing for your self-confidence is to take care of yourself. So basic self-care, as well as affirmations, which are just like you looking at yourself in a mirror and saying, I can do this, I am strong, and things like that. which can boost your self-confidence. So now I want to talk about how to get started on forming a plan and being motivated towards your plan. So step 0, and step 1, is plan or your general idea. So you want to think about what changes you want to make in your life, and you want to think like broad goals, like for example, keep in shape or talk to more people, things like that. And you want to make sure that you think about the size of this goal though. Like there's the saying, put your money where your mouth is, or put your eyes where your mouth is. Like let's say, for example, you're at a buffet and you see all this delicious food. And so you take a bunch of food on your plate, but then when you go and eat it, you can't finish it all because you took too much food and you can't all fit it in your stomach or something. So you want to make sure that your goal is something that you can reasonably accomplish. Another example is like Goldilocks. You don't want your goal to be too big, or else you won't be able to complete it right away and you will be demotivated, or too small, because if it's too small, you'll finish it too quickly, or you won't be motivated because it's too easy. So if you have your general plan, now you want to narrow it down to a specific and measurable goal. So let's say, for example, my plan was I want to improve my health. You want to focus on one aspect of that goal. So for example, my specific goal could be I want to lose 10 pounds by January. It is specific and measurable. So by January, I will be able to see if I reached my goal of losing 10 pounds. Another important thing is to break your goal down into a list of steps. Psychologically speaking, your brain is usually less inclined to complete a goal if it's like a long-term goal, because it doesn't see your small victories throughout the progress towards the goal as enough to continue motivating you to go to the end. So you want to make sure to break your big plan down into smaller steps, and at each step you can have like little rewards or something. And so this leads me to your planner, which is a day-to-day or week-to-week basis plan of what you plan on doing to reach your broader goal. Let's say, for example, my goal is I want to be more social, and I'll say, this week I want to talk to at least 2 people every day, or this month I want to talk to at least 2 people every day. So you can see it's a day-to-day goal. So each day I'll be able to check off, did I talk to 2 people? And you also want to make sure you have cushion days, which are like basically days if you're having a bad day and you're not able to make any progress towards your goal, because those days will happen, and you want to make sure that you're still able to continue despite it and not beat yourself up over not being able to reach that goal for that specific day. So this is my first tip. If you are overwhelmed during your journey towards your goal, you want to break your goal down even more. Think about what is something you can just do today to move further along on your progress bar towards your goal. And like the more short term you think, the more manageable it is. So you want to make sure to think short term if you are feeling overwhelmed at the size of your goal. And this leads me now to the issues that can come along your journey. Of course, demotivation, common issue. Everyone has felt demotivated before. And there are many possible reasons that can lead to this demotivation, including if you're lacking progress towards your goal, and maybe like nothing has changed for the past month and you're feeling demotivated. Maybe you're insecure about the amount of progress that you made, or you talked about your plan to a friend and they kind of made fun of you a little and you're feeling insecure. Or if you're having poor results, like instead of getting better, you're actually getting worse. These things can all serve as demotivators. So if you're feeling demotivated, it's important for you to step back, examine your situation, and see why you're feeling demotivated in the first place. So these are the 3 main issues that can cause demotivation. The first one is complication. As I said during my tip, sometimes when you're feeling demotivated, it's because your plan is very complicated. So you want to be able to break it down into smaller goals and think about a step-to-step basis, or maybe even simplify your goal a little. Or number 2 is you're lacking confidence towards your ability to complete your goal. Similarly to 1, you want to make sure you think about the size of your goal and break it down. And number 3 is you want to make sure that you're communicating with the people around you talk to people who maybe had similar goals and similar struggles and see what advice they have. And that would be very helpful towards helping you in your journey. So this is my second tip, which is you want to make sure that you customize your goals based on what you like. Let's say, for example, I want to have talk to more people, to be exposed to different people during the day, but I hate bingo. So if you hate bingo, don't force yourself to go to a bingo night to meet people. You can maybe go to a poker night or just go to a library and see instead. Another example, if you want to get more movement throughout your day, but you hate running, you could hop on a bike or rollerblade even, and do different activities that could lead you to a similar outcome. So during my research for this presentation, I was able to talk to Beja Belza, who is the director of the Center of Aging at the University of Washington. And she told me that the main obstacles that senior citizens come across are mental health and aging issues. Of course, she said there's a lot of stigma with older people towards mental health, but it's important to know that mental health can be as dangerous and treatable as physical health issues. So of course, there are many resources such as therapy and call centers, which can be anonymous, as well as things that are online now that you can just like email a psychologist or something like that. And the second issue is issues with aging. So you start losing your memory, you start losing your mobility. So Dr. Belza recommended talking with your doctor about these things to see what alternatives you can have, as well as things you can do instead, or your goal could even be tailored around that. Like maybe I'll change my goal because I'm not able to do this, or your goal could even be about these aging issues, such as setting reminders to improve your memory or things like that. And finally, the last issue that is a very common issue again is procrastination, which is defined as putting something off for something else. And it is there because you are faced with a difficult or unpleasant task. And the issue with procrastination that it is technically a rewarding system. So let's say that I'm supposed to go every day out for a jog, but I don't want to go on a jog. So I'll procrastinate by cleaning my kitchen. It's still technically like I did something productive, I cleaned my kitchen, but I wasn't able to finish my original task. So you must be able to find a higher satisfaction in your main objective than the alternative options. So another thing you can do is make it more difficult to do those easier things. Like for example, if I constantly am planning on doing something but end up watching TV, I can put my TV remote somewhere that's hard to reach, so it's a bit more annoying to watch TV or things like that. And you can also, if you are procrastinating, it might be because your goal is too big. So you want to make sure that you think about the size of your goal, as I've said. So this is a nice video that I thought would be interesting to watch. I'll just
my name is Ebert.
Let me know if the volume
and today I'd like to talk about the change in lifestyle when you become an older citizen. For most of our adult life, we're involved in developing a career, we're involved in higher education, we're involved in setting up a home and taking care of children, educating them. And then there comes a time when we retire. We are not the same leading member of the community as we used to be. And with some of us, as it was with me, my wife has passed away. So at that time, when this happens to us, the question is, what do you do next? And it is important, I think, as I have found out, that you find a new meaning and purpose in life. I was very much committed to the work I was doing in my professional life, so I've continued to do that on my terms, maybe for 20 hours a month. And that gives me a sense that I'm still producing in some way. I think it's important to maintain some kind of contact with other people. When we get older, there's not the same opportunity probably, but there's things we can do to maintain contact with people. I have just gotten into the computer world. I didn't even know the keyboard on a typewriter until I was 80 years old. I have a family in Australia. I have a family in Illinois, Guelph, Brighton, and I can talk to them on Skype, and we can have good conversations. Being a senior citizen, being in that stage of your life, you have lost much of what you had before, but at the same time, you're not involved with responsibility. So it can be a pleasant and a sort of freeing time when we're able to do some of the things that we've always wanted to do but never could. I have a friend who started taking piano lessons when she was 81 years of age, and she's now 84 and finding it very, very satisfying. No matter how old we are, we do need a purpose for getting up in the morning. And that purpose is not just to take our pills, but that purpose is to do something which we find pleasurable or satisfying. Any of you who have any comments, please comment below.
Most of my advice for you. To recap a little, it is important to take everything step by step. So you want to be able to first identify a problem, do some research on how you're able to solve it, and concoct a little step-by-step guide on how you plan on accomplishing this goal. And you want to make sure to leave room for off days or days where you're not feeling so well. And you will obviously be demotivated at some point during your journey, but it's important to take breaks, talk to the people around you, and improve your self-confidence to improve your likelihood of success. So I have a few ideas of goals that you could start with, or ideas for things that you could do. So you could learn technology, get active, volunteer at local places, eat healthy, work on your memory, improve your mental or physical health, find more ways to be social, maybe maintain a current goal that you already have, because sometimes it is hard to sustain these goals, start a project, learn a new skill, pick up an old skill again, get more involved with your friends or family, do mental exercises such as puzzles, crossword puzzles, or pick up some mindfulness activities like meditation or yoga. So I have the progress check. This is the second file on your thing, and it contains a little, it's like an activity log for you to fill out every day about things that you have done towards your goal. So I'll just go over on the top. I have a box that is food for thought, which are a few points that you might want to think about and jot down before beginning your goal. I would recommend maybe getting a notebook and writing it down for every day, filling this out. And then so for an example on how to fill the activity log out, this is for if you have a dietary goal. You have your action today, which in this case is I ate McDonald's for breakfast, a salad for lunch, and pasta for dinner. You have improvements from the previous days, which is the salad for lunch, and I had carrot sticks instead of potato chips as a snack. These are any improvements that you see. They could be small or big, as well as future changes that I hope to implement later, such as eat less carbohydrates, since I had pasta and McDonald's, which is a lot of carbs, or incorporate more vegetables in my diet. And the actions for tomorrow, which are a more like just tomorrow based plan for the future. So I wrote eat avocado toast in the morning instead of McDonald's, and learn one more healthy recipe that I can cook for myself later in the week.